Hey, Rose fans, welcome back to the Far Post podcast. I'm your host today, Elizabeth Pehota, joined by Jeff Lemieux. The dynamic duo is back for the first episode of 2021. Jeff, it's been a while. Have you warmed up your vocal cords at all for this?
I have. You know, it's funny. I live alone. So for the past 2 months, I really haven't spoken at all. I've been pretty much staring at a wall for 2 straight months. So I did have to do a little vocal warm up before the show today, just to make sure that the voice still worked. It does. I mean, I think it still sounds amazing personally. But yeah, it's gonna be a ramp up. I don't know if this is gonna be my best show because it's the first one in a while, but it's preseason for everybody.
Did you do your do re mi warm up, a little bit of a singing warm up, I hope?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it right now. I did it before the show, so I wouldn't have.
That was my next question.
Subject the people to that.
Fair enough. Well, luckily, you don't just have to listen to me and Jeff today because we are joined by a very special guest, New England Revolution midfielder, Matt Polster. Matt, we're so excited to have you on for the first podcast episode of the year and your second one ever with us. So thank you for joining us.
It's getting more and more special being on these podcasts. I like it.
Yes, many more milestones on the Far Post podcast to come. It's been a while, though. How have you been holding up?
Yeah, it has been a while. It was a good off season, but I think it was a bit too long. I think all the guys wanted to get back and see each other and get back to playing. And I know that's what the goal was with the CBA. So I'm just glad to be back and training with the guys.
Well, in the time that you did have for the off season, what were some of the activities that you were up to during that time?
Yeah, I obviously was trying to stay a bit fit, but for me, I took on golf and I've been really, really focused on trying to get my handicap down. I know Farrell was giving me some stick for my swing, but obviously it's not as bad as he thinks it is. But that's one thing I've been trying to improve on in the off season was my golf game.
Yeah, we've definitely seen you post about golfing on Instagram. And I feel like Farrell tries to give everybody a hard time whenever he can. So don't take that too hard. But how avid of a golfer are you? When did you first start doing that?
I've always been drawn to it. When I would say when I first came into the league, I liked it and I was playing with my dad every now and then, but I would only go with him in the off season maybe once or twice and never really got into it. And then for some reason, probably last year or so, I just wanted to get good at it. So this off season, I probably golfed a total of 10, 12 times, which is the most I've probably golfed my entire life in one off season. So I put a lot of effort into it, but I'm definitely not good. I'm getting better.
Especially when you're still kind of an amateur golfer, learning the ropes a bit, and you're posting the videos of yourself on social media. Do you kind of understand the risk that comes with that when you know your teammates are going to see that, and you do kind of open yourself up a little bit? You have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Well, my wife's the one who wants me to post more, so I was like, fine, we'll start posting. I'll post that. I'm trying to get into golf, and I think it's a good thing that I'm posting and letting people know what I'm doing outside of soccer. But I think she regrets it a bit because I analyze all my swings now in bed, or she's trying to pick up golf and I'm analyzing her swing, even though I'm not good. I'm trying to figure it out. And I've taken the good with the bad of it so far.
I love that you and Brittany have been doing it together. Did she start golfing with you or did she start golfing before you, or was it kind of something you guys went through together?
I would say I took it on before, and then I was like, I'm just going to go I didn't golf every day, but I would at least go to the driving range just about every day. And she was like, I was like, why don't you just tag along and just go with me? And she's like, fine, we'll just go. And she liked it. She's competitive like I am. And obviously golf is a fairly frustrating sport. So to be good at it, you have to put a lot of effort into it. And she's the same as me, and she wants to get better at something she's not good at. So we're both having fun with it, but I would say I'm definitely more of a golfer than she is right now.
Have you ever tried? Oh, sorry, Jeff.
I was just gonna say, which teammates would you be going to for tips and advice at this point?
I remember this because I came to train. So I talked to CT, Chris Tierney, and I was like, I came to train with them, the Revs, back in my first year of college, maybe, or going into college. And I remember him, and he was rounding up a bunch of his boys to go play golf after training. I was like, oh, that's what these guys do after training. So CT apparently has a great handicap. He said he's a 6. I'm probably around 16, 17. So he would be the one I'm going to right now for golf advice.
Have you ever played Top Golf before?
Yeah, I like Top Golf. It's just good to go smack balls and hang out, and get a drink, eat some food. But it's not I don't take that as serious if I was to go to an actual driving range.
How does it compare to an actual driving range? I did Top Golf for the first time a couple months ago, and my brother thought I was going to be awful, camera out, ready to like watch me botch my swing. And then I did it, and he was like impressed that I could do it, and I actually sustained it for a while. How does it compare when you translate it to the driving range?
I think it's the best option to first go do something. Like if you're really trying to get into golf, or if you want to like try it out, Top Golf is the best option.
Well, I have some good news. Our producer, Jason Dalrymple, has sent that video of the golf footage.
What? First of all, is there any movement in the hips? Let's talk this through here. Hold up. Yeah, man. There's just like, it's a short backswing. It's all arms. No hip movement. I mean, there's a lot of things we can work on. I'm sure CT could take him to the driving range and help him. Not me, but somebody else with more professional experience.
Hey, but you've got the banter now. You have the ammo. You can come back at him after his critique on your swing.
Actually caught dirt on a drive. That's crazy. with the ball teed up, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and he missed his iron. Man, I got some ammo now. Let's go.
See, it almost feels like him going at you. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like he wants this. He wanted this video to be unearthed so that you could go after him and you could start.
I don't want to be posting a full 2 minutes for people to find this. I need it clipped out, and I needed it edited and everything.
I actually had a question about you and Brittany next. I saw on Instagram that you guys celebrated your first year wedding anniversary. How was that? Did you do anything special to celebrate?
We were in California at the time, and unfortunately things were like pretty still shut down. You couldn't eat in restaurants, you couldn't really go anywhere, but we went to the beach, we walked around, had a little picnic there, and then we grabbed our favorite sushi spot and brought that home because you couldn't even eat outside even with the nice weather. So it was nice obviously to celebrate it, but it wasn't like ideal in the certain situations. Obviously we wanted to do something a little bit bigger, but I mean, yeah, we're lucky to be able to do what we were able to do. So can't complain.
What was your go-to sushi order that you guys shared that night?
It's called Katsuya. Some people know it by Izakaya or whatever it is. I don't know who it's by, but she loves her tuna hand rolls, popcorn shrimp.
Great choices.
Like the jalapeno something, and what else? I don't know. That's pretty much the basics. And there's like a yellow tail, like with a jalapeno on it with ponzu sauce. I like my sushi, so does she. But that's our favorite spot.
Very cool. And I also saw on Instagram that Brittany got you an espresso maker as a recent gift. Can you tell us a little bit about that purchase?
Yes. I'm very much into coffee. I love coffee. And my aunt and uncle had like a really, I don't even know if it's high end, but it's very manual. So you have to do everything. You have to grind it. You have to put it together, and then you have to foam up the milk and everything. And I just, again, drew a liking to that. And Lee got me into more of the coffee side of things when he was here for a short period. And we would go get coffee on walks and stuff. And he showed me the espresso maker he had. And I was like, well, I don't know. It's kind of expensive, but I want to get one. And then my wife surprised me with getting one. So that was amazing. And I've made two coffees today so far because I just want to use the coffee machine. I could just keep making the coffees and not drink them. I just want to use the machine at this point.
That explains why you have so much energy right now.
Yeah, I actually had I had one this morning, and then I had a double after. Yeah, so I'm buzzing.
Well, so are you the type of person who gets up in the morning and like needs that coffee first thing, like cannot function as a human being until you have your coffee?
No, I can definitely go without coffee. But I say that I want the coffee. I look forward to my coffee in the morning, but if I didn't have it, I would be fine. So
how do you take your coffee and how do you take your espresso if they're two different orders?
My first order is a cappuccino, a double shot cappuccino with oat milk. Usually no sweetener unless I just like want some sugar. And then I don't know, an espresso, I guess, like if I'm just trying to get a quick buzz and just like, plop it down, then you go with an espresso. You're not trying to like be fancy with it. So I don't mind. I just like coffee.
Can you tell us about some of your technique? I remember during quarantine, Lee was on MLS Idol and he, actually showed how he whipped him up. I'm sure you've seen it firsthand from your coffee dates, but how has that kind of game translated to your coffee now?
My golf game is better than my coffee game. I'll tell you that. It's brutal. At this point, I'm just like pouring the milk in with a little bit of fun. I'm trying to be fancy and try and make a heart. It's just not happening right now. I need to do more YouTube tutorials and a lot more practice at this point. So
we'll have to check back in with you with the designs. I have a feeling like mid-season, you're going to come out with some crazy ones.
Now there's an expectation. Okay. All right.
It's going to be a full feature on revolutionsoccer.net. Matt Polster's coffee making technique.
Right. Scary.
You mentioned, though, that this kind of spurred from when Lee was here and you spent some time with him. Can you kind of take us through what that coffee ritual was that you guys had?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was more just like, hey, you want to go grab a coffee after training? And we would go to, I'm not familiar with the streets, but is it called Newbury Street?
Yes, Newbury Street.
Super busy, too many people for me, but we go anyway. And his favorite was Blue Bottle, which I never heard of.
Okay.
Because LA has Blue Bottle, and my wife has never told me. And I usually try different coffee places, and we go there. We basically get the same order, but I think he does something a little different. Lee, he's like a little bit like there's something extra in his drink that I don't do. So that's about it. We just would chat for like 20, 30 minutes and then go our separate ways. But it was just always good to like sit down, relax after training with somebody and just have a chat.
That's awesome. I love that little ritual. Speaking of Lee too, we know that he's obviously not with the Revs anymore, but he was quarantining when he went out and for a while he was producing TikToks. I know that you might not be on TikTok, but with regards to Instagram, he'd translate those to Instagram Reels. Did you happen to see any of those?
I have not, but knowing Lee, they're pretty extravagant somehow, and I'm sure they're hilarious. So I've never seen him personally. I'm not on TikTok. I've seen a couple of his Instagram posts, questionable posts, let's be honest, but that's Lee. So like I love it. I mean, he has good banter. He's funny. So I definitely miss him. Obviously he's a great guy, and I wish him the best.
Well, I encourage you to go and check out some of those Instagram Reels because he was clearly going a little crazy when he was sitting in his room by himself waiting for the quarantine period to be over. In the best possible fashion, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And Matt, when did you get back to Foxborough? I know you said it was only like a week and a half ago. And how have you been settling in?
Everything's going well. We trained about just every day with the guys. So some days we'll play and then some days we'll do a little bit of fitness, but it's been pretty well organized. Everybody's showing up and trying to be prepared for the season ahead, which obviously is pretty crucial, especially with the long preseason. I know guys are going to have to get really fit and stay healthy before the season starts. But it's been a good transition. I think the guys have not the staff, but our physios have entered us into a good jump into the preseason so far.
What kind of message does that send to the group when you have a voluntary report date and on that first day when guys don't have to be there, but guys want to be there, and basically the entire squad shows up that first day of voluntary workouts?
I think it just gives everybody else a little bit of motivation that you want to be a part of the squad. They want to be a part of the team that, plays week in, week out, or comes off the bench and makes an impact for the group, and for just about the entire team to show up this early and show that they're committed for the season ahead is crucial, because obviously I think we came up a little bit short last year, and we want to make amends for that.
You mentioned that coming back, it was a little bit of a long off season, but you guys did have a physically demanding end to the 2020 season with games just every couple days. So how necessary was it for you guys to have a little bit of a break to rest and come back refreshed?
Like you said, it was a long season, a lot of games in a short spell, but I think we like it that way in a way. Obviously getting the break is nice, and to re-energize yourself and get away from the game, because obviously, again, we're going to have a long season and there could be spells where we have games back to back. So it's good to get away and just get ready, be as fresh as possible, and just get as fit as possible in preseason so that we can get through the season together.
Speaking of fitness, I know you said during the off season you did some golf and there were some other activities, but when you went to go do a little bit more of a, I don't want to say demanding workout, but something that you were looking to kind of keep your fitness up in the off season, what did those workouts consist of?
Some days were like easier than others. We had interval trainings, a couple sprints throughout the day. And then some days it was just like not an easy day, but then you would go do like a 5K, you know? So
yeah,
it was just to stay somewhat fit. I don't think they planned on making the fitness in the off season very difficult for the reason that we were going to have somewhat of a long preseason, which is, I think, beneficial for the guys so that they don't come in, you know, too exhausted or not looking forward to it, you know? So I think the staff has done a great job with that. And I think the guys have a good base for preseason to then really push ourselves to get to match fitness.
What's the hardest thing to get back once you start getting back into preseason? And obviously you're working on fitness. You touch on the ball, there's sharpness. So what's kind of the thing that takes the longest to get back throughout that preseason period?
I just think match fitness is the toughest thing because you can train all you want and you can play small sided games. You can even play, 11-a-side inter squad matches, and it just never really feels the same until you're against opponents. And I think that's the biggest or the toughest thing to get back. So I would say match sharpness for sure.
Matt, when you came back to the training center and you started going to those individual workouts, what were your emotions when you came up and you pulled into the training center?
I was like, man, I have to see these guys again. Nah, I'm kidding. No, it was good.
Name names.
Yeah, exactly. No, it didn't say anything.
Cough.
No, it was good. It was good to see everybody. My first day back, I know some of the guys were here even before me, and the energy just seemed really high, and the group was having fun and cracking jokes. So it was just good to see everybody and get back on the pitch and play soccer.
Did it feel like you never left?
A little bit. Obviously, coming back, you just feel like you just pick up where you left off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like I left once I started getting going again.
Well, and last year you literally picked up right in the middle of the season. And last year was such a bizarre year for so many reasons. It was a whirlwind for everybody, but it was even more so a whirlwind for you joining the team in July/August as the team was coming off the MLS's back tournament, coming into the rest of the regular season. So for a player, how different is it starting in with a team day one of preseason and having a little bit of a knowledge base of what you're getting into, as opposed to last year coming into a squad mid-season and trying to hit the ground running as fast as you can?
I think the biggest thing is just getting used to the players around me. Obviously, like you said, coming in, you have a formation going on. Guys are used to each other already because they've played for 6 months or whatever. And this year for me, it's now I get to start from the beginning where I get to know the players coming in. I get more familiar with the players that are already here. And then I'm starting off knowing what formation we're playing, how they want us to play, what the expectations are. So now I feel like it's much easier to know what the standard is and what they're asking for each player when we're in games.
How do the bonds that you have with some of your teammates also help strengthen that feeling that you just mentioned?
Yeah, exactly. I think I knew a couple of guys on the team, but I didn't go through, a preseason together. And I think that really gets the group closer because you have to push each other to get through somewhat tough times because preseason isn't supposed to be easy. And I think that builds bonds that help you through the season that, you can count on the guy when you're playing in matches.
We know that during the season, you guys spend so much time together in the locker room, on the field, but how close of contact did you stay with your teammates during the off season? And if you didn't, what kind of banter did you maybe had with them on social media?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was, keeping in contact with many of the guys. But Kellen was still on the team technically until recently. So I was talking to him a little bit, spoke with Leo a little bit, but both of them are not here anymore. So, yeah, I guess I didn't really keep in contact with many people. And obviously Farrell's the one who was making fun of my golf swing. So, no, I just got away, just hung out with family, my wife's family, and just played golf really, and then waited to come back. So, like I said, I have to see these guys for another 11 months, so.
That just reminded me as well. It didn't spark in my mind until you said Farrell was making fun of your golf swing, and I thought about it again. When we were in the bubble last year, the team went golfing one day, and Andrew Farrell was not an expert golfer. Andrew's swing, there actually is video. We have video from that golf outing, and Andrew would be the first to admit, I think it was one of the worst golf swings that I've seen in recent memory. So there is video footage that you could take back to Farrell. As
if the refs would like to post golf swings, I would love for them to just post Farrells for me, and I'll retweet, quote tweet, and like and retweet again the next day if I have to.
We might have to bring that back into public view.
I love it.
Just we can do some digging
around this. Yeah, I remember he asked me specifically. He was really excited though. Like we had footage of him absolutely shanking one of his shots, and he immediately was like, "I need that footage so I can post it on social media." Like he wanted to be roasted about it. So.
Sounds like a Farrell thing to do.
He just loves being in the action and coming back at people, right? All in good fun.
It is.
And Matt, looking ahead to the 2021 campaign, it was obviously a little bit of a roller coaster to start out the year, deciding when the season would start, but officially we're locked in for the weekend of April 17th. How much are you looking forward to the 2021 campaign?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, kind of said it before, was I thought we came up a little bit short last year, and I think the biggest thing is to just get off and start on the right foot and get back to where we were, because I know obviously the staff want to win. These guys right now that they brought in, that guys were here already, want to win. So I know there's an expectation and a standard that we kind of set for ourselves last year, and now we just need to exceed that expectation again.
You mentioned coming up a little short, but you guys did have an incredible run, especially as the number 8 seed in the playoffs, making it to that Eastern Conference final. How optimistic does that make you for the potential of this year?
I think we're a good team. I think, we have a lot of good pieces, and a lot of guys are coming back this year, and I think the staff even improved the squad. So I feel really confident if, the first goal is always to get into playoffs, and then from there, anything can kind of happen. And last year we were a good playoff team. We won we beat Montreal, Philly, Orlando, and then we lost to Columbus. So, we have a good track record. I know we can win games, and we're always going to fight and give 100%. So I think if we can get into playoffs, we give ourselves the best chance of winning an MLS Cup.
I know every player is different and uses different types of motivation. So are you the type of player who lets that Eastern Conference final sit with you throughout the off season and lets it motivate you? Or are you the type of guy who tries to put stuff like that, out of your mind as quickly as you possibly can?
No, I definitely thought about it a little bit, because it is upsetting because you're that close to winning something and then getting to the MLS Cup, and it hurts. Obviously, I let it go for a little bit, but I think now it kind of comes up again when the season starts, because that's where I want to get back to, and I want to win it and see what happens in the finals. So, yeah, I somewhat let it go for a little bit, and then it kind of comes back to motivate me again and push me for the season ahead.
And Matt, I know we were talking about the 2021 season, but has Bruce Arena outlined any sort of expectations for you guys heading into this year? And if so, what are they?
I can tell you right now, he has not outlined us the expectations, but I can guarantee you it's winning something. So it's, where his head's at. What can we win? So that's about it.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing what you guys can do in 2021. I do have a few kind of random questions for you before we finish. Yeah. We were talking earlier how you joined the team mid-season in 2020, and your first few months in Boston were obviously a little unusual with the pandemic, and still a little unusual, but how well did you get to know the area while you were here?
For me and my wife, it was really important to figure out where we wanted to live. We spend a lot of time trying to talk to people and figure out what the best situation is for us. So we're in Southie right now, close to Seaport, North End. What's the other one? Back Bay?
Back Bay, yeah.
In Beacon Hill?
Yes.
See, I know my areas. Now, if you put me in there, I have no idea where we are, but I know the areas. So I've gotten familiar with it. But we like Southie. It's a little bit away from the city and the chaos, and it's a bit quiet over here, so we've enjoyed it so far.
Yeah. In general conversation, as long as you're dropping in a Beacon Hill or a Back Bay or a South, you just drop one of those in every now and then, and no one's going to question it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I feel like, in South End. Yeah, thank you. See?
There you go. Yeah, all great areas. Southie is a great place. Are you guys planning on staying in the same apartment, or are you guys looking? Because I know you probably had an unusual lease with the situation of coming mid-season.
We ended up buying a place.
Oh, great.
So we wouldn't be here for as long as New England would like to have me here. So we will be here. And I will not be moving. I don't like moving. I moved 3 out of my 4 years in Chicago, and I regret every single one of them. So I don't plan on moving. I will be in Southie for the next however long.
That's awesome. Do you know how close you are to Matt Turner? He was telling us last time we chatted with him.
We both live on K Street, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
Like maybe he couldn't be more than a 3-minute walk from me, probably.
Oh, that's great. If you guys ever need to carpool, you're set.
Exactly. See, we planned this out without planning it out.
Yeah, everything always works out, right?
Without.
And speaking of Boston areas, have you found a favorite takeout spot that you guys can bring home takeout food for like a Friday night or something?
I like Lincoln Tavern so far. And then there's like Broadway, which is really close to me. So we haven't gone out too much. What's another restaurant that we went to? I'm not sure, but those are the two that I'm very familiar with so far. I like American Provisions. It's not really a takeout spot, but I like their sandwiches and their coffee's good. So I recommend that. And that's about it so far for me.
My next question was favorite coffee shop. So it sounds like you've answered that right there.
Yeah, Southie just doesn't have any coffee shops yet, like they're lacking on that. We can really improve there. And maybe I'll put them out there for the city to like really step up on. But, we got a good Sando spot, so we're good. We're good.
Sandwiches are important. Everyone's got to have their lunch, right?
Exactly.
And one of the unusual aspects about moving to New England is that you can get your 80-degree days, you can get your 19-degree days. What's the favorite season that you've experienced so far in New England?
Anything not cold, please.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. Summer, I feel like could be too hot, so it's got to be like a fall maybe, right?
All right.
That's probably my favorite weather.
New England's pretty hard to beat in the fall when you have all the pretty leaves around you and the trees are changing colors. There's a sweet spot when you're driving to Foxborough in the fall. It's only a week or two, but all of the leaves have changed on the trees, and it's so stunning when you're driving.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best time of the year for me.
Love that. Well, I think that's about it from us. Jeff, do you have any closing questions before we let Matt go?
I had one more soccer related question that I wanted to get in the looking ahead to 2021 section. So I'll throw it out now just as a last question, because I was putting together sort of a positional breakdown for the season based on what the roster looks like now, just each position on the field, the depth on the squad at the moment. And when I was looking through central midfield, there's 5 names in those central midfield roles that are the types of guys who you'd expect would be battling for starting spots. And you've got the 3 guys coming back from last year's squad, and you and Scott Caldwell and Tommy McNamara, who ate up a lot of minutes last year. The 3 of you ate up all of the starting minutes in the postseason. Then you get Luis Caicedo, who's coming back from injury. He missed the entirety of 2020 through injury, but was an everyday starter in 2018 and 2019. And you bring Wilfred Kaptoum into the mix, a player with a fantastic pedigree coming through Barcelona's academy. So just what kind of battle and competition are you expecting amongst that group of central midfielders as you get started in preseason throughout these next few weeks?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to have competition. I know Bruce said that at the end of last year that, it's going to be more competitive this year because the expectation is to win something. And I feel as if you don't have competition, people kind of can skate by, and to win something, you just can't have that. So I think it's extremely important that we have a lot of guys, and you never know with injury. So it's important to be competitive. And for me, my expectation and my goal is to play and to start every game. And I think that should be for everybody on the team. So at the end of the day, if each individual isn't expecting to play or to start, you're just not going to have that kind of competitiveness.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us on the Far Post podcast. First guest of the 2021 campaign. And next time we have you on, we're going to be checking in about your espresso making skills and if you've narrowed down any Polster designs for the top of the cappuccino. Sound good?
Perfect. I can't promise that they're going to be good on the cappuccino, but I'll try my best.
All right. Well, as long as your skills in the soccer field are okay, that's what really counts. But the cappuccino skills are a close second, so don't forget that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We'll have Farrell on next time as well, so that we can get an actual live one-on-one.
I wouldn't mind that. We can
Go
we
down.
can go together. 100%.
Love that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt. We look forward to the 2021 season and can't wait for what you can do this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys.